Amazon just purchased MGM Studios for $9 billion. In this deal, they've added 4,000 films and 17,000 hours of TV to their streaming service Prime, including James Bond, one of the highest grossing film franchises ever. Could Jeff Bezos be the next Bond villain? I can see it now. The benefits are not enough. Live and let die on the job. No time to pee. Anyway, this got me thinking, what do big tech actually own? Before we jump into it, I want to flag the difference between a brand and a company. If you already know the difference, you can jump to this timestamp and fill your boots. I think companies in general intentionally make it so that when most people look at a product name, they think, that must be the brand. And yes, sometimes they do have a level of transparency, but they don't always, so don't come for me in the comments. A company is an organization that makes producing choices and actually sells the product or service to you. A brand is an image or a personality the company want you to associate or have in mind when you're buying their product or service. So an example of this that always blows my mind is that Innocent Smoothie is owned by Coca-Cola. Anyway, I've done my research and I've found some interesting revelations as to what all of these companies actually own. Let's do this. Part 1. Amazon. To say Amazon owns the online book market is an understatement. They've purchased Goodreads, Audible, AbeBooks and Shelfari. They also purchased Whole Foods for $13.7 billion, shoe retailer Zappos for $1.2 billion, online pharmacy PillPack for a budget-friendly $753 million, streaming platform Twitch for $970 million, and IMDB. You know, that website that you still can't use to search for the hot girl in the background while the two main characters were discussing a pivotal point. They also bought Ring, you know, the doorbell company which acts as a surveillance network so they can check up on their drivers, as well as Bebo. Bebo is nothing sacred. They also purchased Alexa. No, not that Alexa, the web traffic analytics company that as of 2021 is still in operation but not for public consumption. In other words, Jeff can use it but we can't. And that's not even mentioning the 288 million square feet of land they own globally. 150 million square feet of that is warehouse storage, and the rest they bought specifically so competitors can't have it. They have a massive head office, and they've started creating company towns for their employees to live in. Are you kidding me? At this point, you might be asking, why hasn't he mentioned the Washington Post? Yeah, how come you haven't mentioned the Washington Post? Great question, me in a hat. Jeff purchased the Washington Post through Nash Holdings, a holding company that he solely owns, for $250 million. So technically it's not owned by Amazon, but it is worth mentioning. Part 2. Nash Holdings. Surprisingly, Jeff doesn't own that much. Comparatively, he is the largest single shareholder in Amazon, with an 11% stake in the company. And he owns the Washington Post, which we've already discussed. He's also the sole owner of Blue Origin, his childhood passion project to take us all up into space. In Dr. Evil's penis rocket. Jeff also owns Bezos Expeditions, an investment firm that specializes in early stage funding, and has put money into Twitter, Airbnb, Uber, Stack Overflow, Nextdoor, Workday, Business Insider, and more. Bezos Expeditions is also building the Clock of Long Now, a clock that is designed to tick once a year, costing $42 million. Jeff claims it's a symbol of long-term thinking. Just think of all the things we couldn't do 10,000 years ago, and all the things we will be able to do in 10,000 years' time. And okay, it's not all clocks and newspapers. He also founded the Bezos Day One Fund, which has made a $2 billion commitment to focus on making meaningful and long-lasting impacts in two main areas: funding existing non-profits and creating a network of new, not-profit, Tier 1 preschools in low-income communities. So solving a few issues he created.
I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
And go fuck yourself, Jeff Bezos. Part 3. Facebook. Facebook, or Meta as I refuse to call them, own the family of apps and of course Oculus VR. Facebook has acquired 91 companies over the last 15 years, including Giphy, although that deal has been going back and forth more than a tennis ball at the Wimbledon finals. They also own the plain clothing company Threadsy, which explains Zuckerberg's amazing and diverse wardrobe. Zuckerberg also owns the controlling stake in Facebook with 53.3% of the shares. He also owns about 1,600 acres of Hawaii, which I guess is fun for him? Oh, come on, Zuck. You've already got 10 houses. If you need any more, can't you just play The Sims like everyone else? Part 4. Alphabet. Alphabet is the parent company to Google, so we're going to lump all of their purchases into one section. Let's start with physical tech. They own Fitbit, Nest, and a handful of other brands which fold into these too. In terms of software, they own the A to W of everything worth owning. From Android to Waze, they own it. And of course, they have a bunch of websites that we can use for free in exchange for ads, including Google and all the products supported by your account, like YouTube, which also allows you to like videos and subscribe to channels. Why not give it a go right now? YouTube also offers channel membership, which I'm tempted to apply for, but for now I have a Patreon, subreddit and Discord which have nothing to do with Google or Alphabet that you can join, linked below. In 2013, Google purchased the frankly terrifying and exciting robotics company Boston Dynamics, which not only led to one of the best episodes of Black Mirror ever, but also some very useful robots that can tidy up after their dirty employees. To compete with Facebook, they purchased the GIF search engine Tenor. This means it's near impossible for you to search for a 2-second clip of a TV show or a film without giving some data to big tech. Isn't this fun? Oh, and they're renting 200 goats. No kidding. They use them as lawnmowers as part of their low-carbon approach to maintaining their properties. The only reason they haven't purchased the goats is that if a goat died while working for them, they'd have to pay their kid $1,000 a month for the next 19 years. Not to be outdone, Yahoo also do this, but the results are only half as effective. Part 5. Apple. Apple bought Shazam for $400 million, whereas I downloaded it for free from the App Store. And who could forget about Dre and the fact they own Beats headphones? Apple also own more than 700 acres of land in their property holding company. To put that in perspective, they own the same amount of land as Hawaii and Rhode Island combined. Part 6. Microsoft. Microsoft owns Skype and Nokia, as well as Hotmail.com, which they bought for $500 million in 1997. That's $6.50 in today's money. They also own LinkedIn, which they bought for $26.6 billion. I hated LinkedIn for ages, but it's fast becoming my joint favourite social media site. If you want me to make a video about why I think they're doing social media well, write it in the comments below, and I might make it. I probably won't, but I might make it. They also own the software platform GitHub and Yammer. Yammer is basically Twitter, but it can only be viewed by people you work with. Fun, right? And most recently they purchased Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion in cash in their biggest acquisition yet. This purchase made Microsoft the third largest gaming company in terms of revenue. And finally, they own Microsoft.com, a website created by a then 17-year-old Mike Rowe. Microsoft tried to sue him because he was using the word soft. Thank fuck Pornhub didn't exist back then. They offered Mike $10 to take the site down. Mike responded, $10,000 is my fee. A legal battle ensued, with Mike getting free legal help and donations from people online. They settled out of court and Rowe got a free Xbox and a bunch of Microsoft training certificates. In the end, Microsoft got the domain, and today, if you type it in, it still redirects to their landing page. Thanks so much for watching. Did I miss anything out? I probably did. This isn't a comprehensive list. If you know something that a big tech brand owns that I've missed out, please write it in the comments below. I'd love to learn about other things that my research didn't bring up.